Alright, hello everyone, my name is Disc. In today's video we have a 21 Algeth'ar Academy. This was our third attempt. First attempt, I got spell locked on the big bird. Second attempt, our tank got punted off the map. Third attempt, not a problem. But this was for IO. We timed with 50 seconds left on the clock. 2 deaths overall. Pretty clean. And mainly in this video, I'm trying to feature all of my UI updates. We'll talk about them as we go. The first one, probably harder to see unless I pinpoint it, is a change to my Ellesmere's party frames. The shield icon and the palm icon now have their own independent space. Makes it easier to fill in shields where missing. Okay, but let's do our first pull here. I'm trying to get dots on all of the lashers, and I PI after they gather up. PI is on the DK. We do have a focus with a skull, and I have run this key a handful of times now. I think one of the most important things for myself in pull 1 is just making sure I roll uppies as early as possible, and that's what I did there. I have had some runs where I have to give a defensive uppies to the tank, but I think this tank is a little bit better. He barely needed a pinch up. But there was death 1 due to ground damage. That's kind of a bad death, being that now we have to carry that mistake throughout the whole key. But again, we time with pretty much a minute to go. So a couple other UI changes. You might notice my player frame in combat turns just into a mana bar. That is default UI. That's the resource bar. Out of combat, the player frame comes back, like right there. I'm back to using details. I like details more than anything else. I think mainly because you can hide certain frames in and out of combat. So that's a big part of my UI, is hiding elements out of combat that have nothing to do with combat. So like my chat is hidden, a handful of frames are hidden, player buffs are hidden, a handful of damage meters are hidden, a handful of more action bars are hidden. Yeah, and helps you lock in. Alright, so here we are on boss 1. Very important to attack the branch. Stands out as a slightly different color. And all I do before the branch spawns is I wait until the very last second before these bleeds go out and play my fade. You want to delay it as much as you can. Fade on this one too. I used an evangelism as a reaction to the damage. Always pairing a Radiance with your Mind Blast for an extra big penance. And watch this branch out. I delay a fade as late as I can. Fade. And I do dot the branch. I full switched my damage. You know, we're just a priest. We're doing 30,000 a second compared to 400. It is small, but it's the mechanic. So I dot it, give it all the DPS I can handle. And on this burst forth, I do always want to fade. Mind Blast, preceding the attack. Unload a penance after the attack. Better Blizz plates for nameplates, Ellesmere's for party frames. My spells are just action bars. I've been doing that for years. Fade late. Here come the bleeds. And this boss is really easy, to be honest, once you know the cadence. But against the bleeds is where you want to play spells. So like either your wall or your evangelism or paints up. And you can pretty liberally use them. But I did preview part of this video last night after the recording, and there's a small error I made here, or just like I wish I could have done it a little bit better, very small, but I had my PI for like 6 or 7 or 8 seconds before I used it, and same with uppies. Not too big of a deal, but I wish I had played them a little quicker. So this is where we lost our tank on our second attempt. No problems on this one. But all you want to do is play DPS disc. Pump as much as you can, pairing Radiance with your Mind Blast for extra large penance. And don't die. I mentioned it in the past, I'll take this moment, but I do have custom macros that fire Radiance, Evangelism, and Shield at the tank. And I have a custom run command to build that macro with the tank's name. So I press that macro at the start of every key, and then I have a separate keybind to funnel those spells into the tank. The main reason is because with the Evangelism, Radiance, and Shield, generally they're going towards myself or the tank. And it's nice just having a individual keybind for that. Here comes PI in 2. Definitely want to play it for the uptime. It's out. And on this pull, I'm still just thinking play DPS disc. I want full dot spread. So I use penance to spread my dots, and I think on a pull like this, I cast, maybe it was 2 extra dots just manually. Drinking. Set focus on the big one as early as you can. Dot, penance. Dot. And so these guys, they are kind of auditioning the boss's attacks, except they don't interrupt you. But really good to make sure your party is healed for these group attacks. We can track that on the enemy's nameplate. That is X-Boss. Yeah, I really like having all those elements turn off in and out of combat. Like things like the tooltip, you don't need that in combat. Chat, generally don't need it in combat. Discipline Prayer and Fade as late as I can to cover both of these screeches. And just offensive penance to heal the group. I've also taken my target frame. It used to be on the right of my spells, but I condensed it over on the left. So I have my mana, my target, and my target's target all on the left. So here's an uppies. You don't get this uppies in a 20, but in a 21 you do. You get one more here, and then we place our next uppies at the end of the bird boss. But I wanted to open up the right side of my screen, which is why I moved my target frame. The right side of my screen is already taken by enemy casts and boss cooldown trackers. And then, like, I guess I think the target frame is largely irrelevant. I do want it on screen, but I moved it over to the left, bring up the right side of my screen a little bit. And then in that little interim, I was trying to stack palms, and I was trying to stack Harsh Discipline, making sure the tank had a shield on him because he's going to get smacked by the bird. And all we're tracking is this Screech. Fade as late as you can to cover the full thing. And on the open of this boss, you can pretty liberally use your spells. So we have Desperate Prayer, we have Evangelism. So this next one, if I had to guess, is Evangelism. Yeah, Fade and Desperate Prayer plus Evangelism. And you cannot be greedy on this boss with your penance. So a lot of people ask, like, where do my penance go? Offense or defense? I think, let's check myself as this boss continues. Fade late. So both penance were defensive on that Screech. I think I tried to do one offensive, one defensive, but that one took both defensive. Okay. So, in the past, I've taken these buffs, but in a higher level key, I really want to allow the DPS in the tank to take. Okay, so we had a late Fade, one offensive, one defensive penance, and a Desperate Prayer. So another reason I like an individual button to shield the tank is because I believe when his shield is 8 up, it triggers as atonement for anyone who is atoned. So I look at shielding the tank as a small group heal. That's one of the reasons. Okay, so that one took a paint sup. Not a bad idea to use a paint sup early. We had a 2 stack and they will fully recharge. Mind Blast ahead of the attack. Fade delayed. Radiance Evangelism. So we do have PI. The call is to PI our Demon Hunter. And the call is also to delay a little. So PI is out already. And here's a moment to play DPS Priest. We should get one Mind Blast here.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And I think we just about are over for this boss. And I think I uppies on this next Screech. Mind Blast early. Just to go ahead and bank that buff. Uppies with a Fade. I've gotten in trouble in the past where I don't queue Fade thinking uppies is enough, but Fade is free enough that I think you should play it with the uppies a lot of times. Okay, Desperate Prayer and paints up on myself. A lot of defensives, but I think that's okay. Alright, we have 0 pains up. Evangelism is just now ready. And we're moving on. Who's ready for Season 2? Pretty excited. I think I have the 1% title right now by accident. Okay, I found the Ravager. And I think we have a death here from the tank, so let's watch. I I'm not sure exactly what it was. I watched it back a couple times. Okay, paints up on the tank. And the mage does a really good job here. Props to the mage. He's baiting that attack and mitigating it every single time. Evangelism. So watching this back in hindsight, I wish I had a couple more dots out here, but this is a little bit of a spicy pull, a little hectic. Health can kind of spike. Watch the tank here. Yeah, so I had no paints up, so I had a Shadow Mend. Was he in the frontal? I think he might have been in the frontal, it's hard to say. But back to what I was saying about dots in this pull. It is a little bit of a spiky pull, can be. So I was just doing my best job to like play defensive. But I find a lot of times pulls have enough breathing room to cast a couple extra dots. Let's see if I can do that here. So these pulls are great for fear. We overlapped. That's okay. Still played it. But what I do is I have that add-on that puts all my enemy casts on screen. I wait until I see like 2 or 3 of them out, and then I fear bomb. But this is a good example where I'm adding a couple extra dots to the field. Yeah, when I can, like if the tank has a defensive or during pain sup, I try and add like 1 dot to the field, or 2. But looking at mana here, we're not doing great. I'm at 8%. I do have a meld to give. We have a PI to give. Just got uppies. So here's a meld drink. I would have liked to play this differently in hindsight too, but we get through it just fine. What I would have liked to do is play my uppies first. So I would have liked all these dots out, played my uppies. The uppies would have refreshed all the dots. It would have put uppies on cooldown. Then I could have drank. But it's really neither here nor there. I just would have changed it if I could. I also moved my debuffs next to my mana bar. I kind of like leaving my mini-map completely open up there. Okay. Need mana.
Accidentally overloaded an arcane elemental and created a powerful construct named Maximus that quickly started to...
And I almost wiped the key here. I wasn't sure the play. Thanks. Alright, this boss, we have 0 deaths. It's a pretty good play. But all we have to do is make sure the group is topped and covered every other bomb. This is a great place for defensive penance. And I made a change to my Ellesmere's frames after previewing this video. On purpose, I have my private auras and debuffs stack because I thought it didn't matter. But this is an example. Fade before the fissure. But this is an example where stacking those elements prevents me from seeing who's targeted with a bomb. So, yeah, the better thing to do is like see who takes this aura and heal them. Okay, so I was picked this time. Fade pretty much instantly. And that was the easy round. So here comes the next set of bombs. This one's paired with a fissure. I have wall and pinceps. Flash heal for the 10%. Personals are running. We're A-okay. And I really like the change to my player frames. Buffs used to grow from the right. You know what I mean? So like that corner space for auras could have been a shield or a palm. But now they have their own dedicated spaces. And it makes it easier to see who's missing a shield. So I put a paints up on, a fade. There's the fissure. And it didn't even touch me. The best word of wisdom with paints ups or wall here is, let's say you're picked with a bomb and it's a fissure round. Delay your defensive by a moment so that it covers the fissure as well. So that was an evangelism to top us up before the fissure. Defensive penance before the fissure. Fade before the fissure. So boss is almost down. We have uppies in 5. We sent a final PI here just to polish the boss off. And we're set. 8 minutes 45. We timed the key with 45 seconds left. 50 seconds left. Opening with as many dots as I can while the pull is light. And uppies, I always like uppies when I have dots out first. So I'm trying to ramp for an uppies. Putting my blasts on cooldown. Putting my penance on cooldown. And then uppies. Let's see what I do. Casting a dot. There's uppies. So we do have to watch for single target. It's not too threatening, but just reacting with your party frames, making sure they have a shield or something. Cleans up the tank here on the latter half of the pull just to win. Almost got 8 up. Okay, we have no mana. 1 pinks up. Evangelism. PIs in 15. And this next pull is major. If we crush this next pull, we win. The play is Mass Invis here, and I almost botch it for the team. I like setting feathers out because you can eat a feather in Mass Invis. You just can't cast a feather in Mass Invis. So we set a feather out. Here's the Mass Invis. Feather. Okay, so this pull is major. We have to pay attention to 1 attack, the Arcane Smash. And we have to do our absolute best not to have heals go to overhealing. So if you have a massive penance or if you have a radiance, you want to wait until people's health is down. Okay, I fade in Desperate Prayer as late as I can to cover all of these smashes. And we do have a focus target here. Looks like I was not on the focus. That's okay. Fade. looked like I precast a Radiance on top of the Arcane Smash attack. Practicing precasting as much as you can as a healer. Mind soothing the patrol, but ultimately we needed that patrol. So we kill this final guy and we're only at 99%. So I was ready to go pull boss, but thankfully no one died here. I didn't see how they engaged. I saw a root, but then they were attacking the Death Knight. But yeah, the way the cookie crumbled is we needed this pull anyway. I think it was a slight miss in our route. We're only at 99%. But these two are not going to kill anybody. So this is my meld drink. We need to get to full. And I don't want to throw shade or nothing, but yeah, our tank here, I think he stressed everybody out. He had a death already. On our second attempt in here, he got knocked off the map. And on this fight, please, anyone chime in if you have notes. I don't think he did a very good job at corralling the boss. So the whole time we're in the thick of it with dodging orbs. But we have no deaths, and we win with 50 seconds on the clock. So on open here, I cast PI as early as I can to get multiple. And all I'm tracking with bigwigs, boss timers, is this vacuum. That's the only thing that's going to kill us. And I'm trying to play my job a little bit better as a healer, because these stacking debuffs that go in party, they can one-shot you if you get too many mechanics. There was an upbeast to counter the magic dot. But what I was saying is with this stacking debuff, I'm not 100% sure on the mechanic, but they randomly go out and they stack to 3. On the third one, they hurt you. So what I'm trying to do is with my Wheel and Woe shields or my Void shields, I'm giving extra mana and extra globals to shielding those that have a 2-stack. Just trying to be preventative. And we don't really need paints ups for the tank here, so I threw a paints up on the mage there just to counter his dispel. And play DPS the best you can. Evangelism, free to use here. You can use it whenever you want if you just want to top a group. So let's see, I have a 2-stack. Shield myself. So I have a Mind Blast in the chamber. My Radiance first. And Massive Penance. Okay, we just got our second PI. The Demon Hunter was asking for PIs on single target. I guess maybe that's better, so just trying to make the group happy. Desperate Prayer, Flash Heal. Shield. Thank God, because my debuffs hit 3. Okay, Vacuum Ink. And that was a miracle no one died. We do have 2 battle res though. Shield Dispel. Minute and a half on the timer. Vacuum in 3. Shielding those with a 2-stack. I have Evangelism, I should play it here. Yeah. So it's minor, but I'm trying to start looking at Evangelism as also a slight DPS boost, because we get these extra Radiance, which means we're getting extra Penance Bolts. Radiance, Mind Blast, Penance. just about done here. Boss dead. 50 seconds on the timer for IO. Firmly in the 1%, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I think my very last video was an AA, but I made a ton of UI changes that I wanted to show off. Super happy with where my UI is at the moment after the rapture of UI elements. Took a while to get here, but this is a really strong UI for Discipline if you ask me. And very happy with it. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Check me out on Medify for WoW coaching. Good luck in Season 2. And until next time, Disc.